So agape, how I love my agape, bringing joy into life. So I know we've hugged, all right, everybody's hugged, but I also like to recognize the presence of God because this is what makes us different, and not different, but this is how we practice spirituality, that when we look at one another, we actually stand in the presence of God. So just with your heart, anchored in your heart, your breath in your heart, take a look at the people around you, but with eyes that are soft, that see the brilliant luminosity of each person. Whether you like them or not, see God, all right? So spend a moment, just look around, take a look around the room. If it makes you uncomfortable, be in the uncomfortableness, all right? Just be present. Because how often do we go out into the world and we actually don't stand in the truth that we see God? So, anytime, I'm first of all very grateful that Lee invites me to speak, and I just listen to Spirit, because Lee's like, speak whatever. I'm like, okay, let me tune in. And so several weeks ago, I was just kind of walking and I kept hearing, what is your original purpose? What is your original purpose? What is your original purpose? And it's a little different than who am I? Because I absolutely understand that, there's this infinite one that we call God, this infinite mystery that we call life, and that each of us is a unique expression of that. But we come into this world with these personalities and these forms, but our soul has an original intention. And it gets a little confused in this world of, material. This is the body of God. But sometimes we get stuck in the personality, or stuck in the appearance, or stuck in the condition, as opposed to appreciating that this is the way that God shows up. So original purpose. So I was walking with that because I was having a conversation with someone, just sharing if you look at the timeline of your life, especially in America, we define ourselves by success with materialism, with results. And for me, I had to look at my timeline of the evolution of my consciousness, of the growth of my life, of the journey of my soul. Now, I've known since I was a child that I was a God girl. I was this, 5-year-old singing to the divine. I knew that I had this awakened presence to bring people to God, whatever this greater reality is. And the way that I express it now is different than in my childhood religion that I appreciated. But I have this fundamental understanding that part of my purpose is to shift consciousness, my own first and foremost, but all of life. But someone was talking to me about, well, where are you at financially, and what are your goals, and what are your intentions, and all those are great, because we have a life path. But what happens is that I had to stand in, but what is my original purpose? What is my soul's expression to be here? What is real success? Because for me, the fact that I'm standing here is success, because 20 years ago, I was in the midst of a long-term illness. So I walk, I listen, I tune in, I listen to clues, and all of a sudden I put on Super Soul Sunday, and Oprah's talking to Jack Canfield. And the minute I turn it on, he goes, success is fulfilling your soul's desire. I go, bingo, that's what I'm talking about. And Jack Canfield was beautiful in that his whole conversation about success principles is like, are you living your soul's purpose? Perfect alignment with what I was speaking with. So he shared with Oprah the way that you know that you are living your soul's purpose because you feel alive. It is that thing inside of you that brings joy. It's that thing inside of you that's aligned with all that you're being in the world that then affects the doing in the world. And he went through his whole history of, going to college and then being a teacher and moving into this education process and then recognizing that he had something greater to share, and then how Chicken Soup for the Soul came together because he listened within. He tuned within to what his soul's purpose was. He said, I'm here for love and joy. I'm here to inspire and teach. And that he did it when he was teaching, high school students, but his whole evolution of his soul's purpose kept taking him to, a different place, a different space. So when him and, I forgot the other guy's name, Mark Victor Hansen got together for Chicken Soup for the Soul, he said it was like this spiritual download, like he could feel it. All right? They knew that there's something there that was beyond them. And so they take this book, they take this idea, their literary agent couldn't sell it to anybody. They go to this book fair, 144 rejections. Literally, nobody got it. Nobody got it. And he just knew because that whole actual title of his book came to him in a meditation. The world is feeling sick. What did you used to have when you were little? Your mother made chicken soup. So it was Chicken Soup for the Soul. And people were like, well, that's not a good title. And nobody's going to read that. And nobody's going to, buy this and that. But he listened to his soul's purpose. He listened that this was necessary for the world. Found the one publisher. The one publisher had an idea of like 25,000 books. They had an idea of like 150 by a certain time period. But his whole purpose became that he was living in his sole purpose of inspiring and teaching. That success for him was no longer about the results, but it was about how he was showing up in the world, how he was living his soul's ideal, how he was aligned in his joy, how he was being his authentic self and expanding that to everybody that we meet. Because how often do we hear from our parents growing up, or I see it with my nieces and nephews, like, well, this is a good career for you, I think you should really do this, and you see people that they're not using their gifts, and you can tell because they're not joyful. Now, I've been in New York City. How many people have been in New York City? Have you ever seen those traffic cops? Every once in a while, there's that traffic cop, and they're doing this whole thing, They're living their soul's purpose. You're watching them radiate joy and love. I've been to the store where people were not happy being there behind the counter, and then I've encountered people who were such radiating love beings, blessing me just because I bought, some groceries. When you're aligned in your soul's purpose, you feel alive. Every ounce of your beingness is pouring forth joy. It doesn't mean there's not going to be challenges along the way. Oprah even said that. She goes, yeah, you hit the bumps, but you know that you're doing what is yours to do in the world. And it shows up differently when you tune into who am I? What is my original purpose? What is my original intention? How do I express that in the world? And that becomes your GPS. He even said that joy becomes your inner GPS. So I have this great friend, Heather Mackey. When we worked together, she and I would have these deep, metaphysical conversations. I miss Heather. And we were just talking about, the photography that I love to do, teaching, the evolution of, how I went from the film industry through a long-term illness, then, at Centers for Spiritual Living. And she goes, you know what your 3 words are? Express, create, teach. I'm like, bam, that's good. Express, create, teach. And I started looking at my path, the different jobs I had taken. The ones where I was the happiest, I was in my soul's alignment. The ones where I was not happy, I was not living my soul purpose. I was not in my original intention. Now, when we move into that space, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're bringing forth your gifts. You're bringing forth your purpose. You feel people when they're in their original purpose, all right? But you have to stand in the truth is, who am I in this life, God asked me to be? How's it showing up with my unique gifts? What are my key words that I can stay aligned in? And then you can stand in the yes for your soul. You can stand in the yes for your original intention. You can stand in the yes for your expression, and then you can stand in the no thank you to everything else. Because if it's not in alignment, you're not going to be what I say in your God groove. You're not going to be living your truth. You're not going to be doing what your soul's here to experience and express, and it will show up in different ways. Now, my other great, she doesn't know she's one of my mentors, but my other great mentor is Elizabeth Gilbert of Eat, Pray, Love, Signature of All Things, and Big Magic. And her whole thing is she knew at 15 that she was a writer. She knew it. She goes, I don't need permission from anybody. This is mine to do. So she went to college, got her liberal arts degree, but when it was time for her to get out of school, she said to her parents, I am a writer. That's great, honey, as long as you can pay your bills. All right? And so her whole thing is, I didn't need permission. I did not need permission to be anything other than that I'm a writer. And she talks about how she worked as a waitress, she worked as a bartender. Even on her 4th book, she was still working those jobs. She goes, this was my day job. I went home because it was my soul's purpose to write. So how often do we deny ourselves what is our expression? How often do we say, I don't have time for that? So the other day, I mentor kids and I also do mindfulness meditation. And so part of my creativity is writing, but the other thing is photography. I just love photography. I feel like I'm capturing the beauty of God and I've got to share it. And it was like, I go to Doctor's Hospital for a walk, and I was going to go for a walk. I looked outside, I go, oh, it's foggy. The lake is going to be fabulous, So forget the walk. I got my camera, ran out to the lake, but I had to watch my time. Because I did have an appointment with a 2nd grader to mentor him. But what I found is that when I'm in the presence of something so magnificent, I can feel my heart expansive. I can feel this joy pouring forth. And then when I share it, I can feel that I am living my soul's purpose. Got to my mentoring on time, did the mindfulness with the 4th and 2nd graders. But what I recognize is that if I don't honor those moments when my soul needs to create and express, I'm not living in my joy. There were years that, things were just a little too busy and I wasn't writing the way that I used to write. And I realized I felt like my soul was dehydrated. I wasn't living to my full energy and my full potential. So how many of you feel that you are living your soul's purpose? Just be honest. Oh, I love that. You can tell that this is a New Thought Center. But how many are you willing to explore it? How many of you willing to move in and dive into who you really are? Because here's just the whole fundamental thing. What we are doing, whether it's our job, is great. It's how you get to express. But you have to tune into what is my original purpose? What is my soul's expression here to do? How can I benefit the world? Because Jack Canfield even said it, we are always in service to each other. When we fundamentally realize that this is how God shows up, each expression is authentic. Each expression is unique. Each expression is necessary. It's like a spoke in the wheel. We all must come together for our highest good, and this world indeed will be brighter and lighter. So what I invite people to do is to go into that deep place of your beingness. Think of it as a spiral. So you got your personality. You got your body temple. This is like our little temporary car, all right? You got the things that you like, all right? We have our ego. Think of your ego as the steering wheel, okay? You got to have it, because imagine getting in your car, you don't have a steering wheel. It's like, well, how am I going to drive, Because sometimes we negate the ego, but the ego serves the soul's purpose. The ego is there to be to be led. So just imagine that this is the way that God shows up. This is the divine, Mercedes, whatever, Cadillac, whatever it is that you want to express. And where is it that your soul is wanting to go? Wanting to be. Take away time, take away personality, take away condition. You have God. So what I do is a spiral meditation where I'm starting here. Here's a material realm. This is the body of God. This is how God co-creates. This is how spirit shows up. Beautiful. But here's my body. But let me let go of my body. Here's my name, ethnicity, male, female. Let me let go of that. Here's my mind. Let me let go of that. Here's my emotions. Let me just release it for a moment. And then I get to that core. So we're going to do that together right now. Are you willing? All right. So I invite you to take a deep breath, close your eyes, get comfortable, and just follow my prompts. Listen with your heart. Be grounded in that your higher self, your divine self, your authentic soul is speaking to you. But imagine we're in this spiral and it's just slowly moving. So just take a look at what is your body. Take a look at your body. Take a look at your family, the way that you showed up. Whatever nationality, whatever ethnicity, your name, and now let it go. Imagine just like in the fog, it's dissipating. Remind your ego it's still in place, because the ego might get a bit like, oh, what are we doing? Where are we going? Just release, breathe into it, let it go. Release personality, release name, release body. Now imagine everything that moves in your mind, your thoughts. These are just mental constructs of this human perception, but just let it go. If something comes up, just say, okay, I see you, but release, breathe deeply, let it go. Any thoughts about who you are, any thoughts about what society says you should be, let it go. Now spiral down and letting go of your emotions, anything that you may be attached to. Just like you're just letting go, it's just dissolving. You feel lighter and lighter. As you spiral, you're going into this pristine place. This place of love, this place of light, this place of the infinite joy that is your absolute original essence. And when you get to that place, just be in the expansiveness of it. And with eyes that see, but not the physical eyes, but the eyes of your divinity, ask your soul, what is my original purpose? And just be in that. It may be one word, it may be a few words. They're always positive. It could be a quality of God. Imagine it like a diamond that is being presented to you, the gift of your soul's purpose. It is yours for expressing, it is yours for being, it is yours for serving the world. And you will know it is yours because you feel alive. You feel that energy, that vibrational frequency that is your soul frequency. This is the I am that is your life. Now take a deep breath. And imagine as we spiral, we're slowly coming back into, yes, here are my emotions. Thank you. This is the way that I get to express in my humanity. Spiraling up, here is my mind. Thank you for the thoughts. These are like my compass in the world. They get to lead me to different places. And come back into your body, your personality, the name that you were given, because this is how you express on earth. And take a deep breath, anchoring whatever it is that came into your actual inner view as your soul's purpose. Take a deep breath. And now say, I am. I am. I am. Take a deep breath in and slowly open your eyes. And take a moment, if you feel comfortable, and share with the person next to you. What are your qualities? What's your soul's purpose? Just real quick. If you don't feel comfortable, just give them the peace sign. So who wants to share their word? Anybody? Or 3 words? Who's willing? In the back. Stand up, say your name, tell me your words.
Sandy, I am here to make people happy.
Love it, thank you. Say yes, Sandy. Woo! Who else? Stand up, say your name.
I'm Wendy, and I'm here to give unconditional love.
Beautiful, say yes you are. Yes you are. All right, who else? Yes.
I'm Mary, I'm here to be a healer.
Yes you are. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm Bonnie, and I'm a joyous co-creator.
Love it. Thank you. Who else? How about the men? Come on. Some soul purposes for the men? All right, we're going to know your truth. So when you're living in your soul's purpose, when you're living in your divinity, when you're expressing your higher good, your power, your essence, your truth, you enter into the room with a vibration that is saying yes to God. You enter into this life with that knowingness that is God expressing in, through, and as you. I have this one quote from Palmer Parker that I love. He says, before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen for what it intends to do with you. Before you tell your life what truths and values you have decided to live up to, let your life tell you what truths you embody, what values you present. You are the way that God shows up. You are the way that the universe says yes. Are you willing to stand in your soul's purpose? Can I hear a yes? Are you willing to live in your light? Yes. Are you willing to be the love even in the midst of darkness? Yes. I'm not saying it's always going to be easy, but what I am saying is it's necessary. And that you've come into this planet to live your original purpose, to let joy lead your day, to be alive in your full expression. That when someone else says, no, I know my truth. I know my soul's purpose. Thank you, but no, thank you. When someone says, well, what? That's a crazy idea. You stand in your holy, sacred yes, because God never gives you a dream, Jack Canfield said, that you do not have the capacity to fulfill. I absolutely invite you to live in the dynamic expression of your light. I invite you to tune within, to inquire within, to absolutely stand in the truth and listen through meditation. Your intuition is your permission slip. We don't have to ask permission from anybody, anything, to be who we are, to live our light, to dance our truth. Your intuition, your light, your life is the way that God says yes. Are you willing to dance in the yes? Yes. Because it's necessary. There's so much in the world. I know I bring this up every time I'm here, but there's so much in the world because people are not living their soul's purpose. People are lost in separation, fear, and condition. It is commanded upon us to live our light, to shine our light, to stand in the truth for not only our children, but for everybody, because you're like this light bulb that comes on. And the minute your light bulb comes on, somebody's like, what is she doing? What is he doing? Look at Steve Curry and his music. Imagine if Steve never shared his gift. Imagine if he said, you know what, being an artist is like kind of hard. I don't think I want to do that. Stand in the glory of who you are. Live your soul's purpose. Shine your light. The sun never argues with its own light. The stars never compete out in the universe. It's time for us to look at God in ourselves, look at God, at everybody we meet, and know that we are living our soul's purpose. We are living our soul's intention, and be that mirror to people who are lost in the darkness, who are lost in the doubt, who are confused by condition. Embody it. When we do the exercises together, I invite you to do that at home. Embody it. Because when you live it, when you be it, you believe it, and you actually show the world the possibilities of living in your divine glory. So I just invite you just to take that in for the week. Take your soul purpose, create like a personal statement, let it be your intention, and let yourself just be aligned. And if something is not in your God groove, no thank you, all right? And when you hear a no, just know that there's a divine plan. There's a higher purpose. There's no timing in God. There's just God. I invite you to go within, close your eyes, let's pray that up, take a deep breath. And in your heart space, take that understanding of your soul's purpose, your original purpose, your divine intention. That is the oneness, the wholeness, the power, the presence that is God, expressing in, through, and as you. This one source, the infinite light, that infinite dance of grace, of peace, of wisdom, of abundance, of harmony, of joy. It is the power and the presence that is God that is indeed so uniquely, so individually, so beautifully expressing as your life. I am. The I am that I am. It's in that full realization and knowingness of this truth. That I stand here in the full declaration that every word spoken and unspoken, every soul's intention that was heard, and those that whispered it, and those that carried it in their heart, that each one here is the living, dynamic universe of the one mind, one presence, and that their life is the embodiment, the radiation, the absolute declaration of good that is God as their life. So I stand in the glory of the one, expressing so absolutely, incredibly, exquisitely, standing in the light, dazzling in the brilliance of the glory of God. I know for each one that their soul's purpose moves about their day, fulfills them in every way. It is in alignment with what they do in the world, but the beingness, the boldness, the brilliance, the divine made manifest right here, right now is perfect in every single way. I call it good. I call it fabulous. I call it God. And let's anchor this together by saying, and so it is.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I am so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask you to go to our website. Once there, click on the Contribute button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to the world. I would also ask you to please share this message with anyone you feel might benefit. Again, I want to thank you for joining me and the Agape community as together we bring joy to life.